Hello, friends and Kryptonians. Welcome to the final week of the Teacup for One Superman movie marathon. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, but you know what I don't have? A Superman t-shirt. I told myself I was going to buy a Superman t-shirt for this marathon. Lo and behold, it hasn't happened. So this is the closest I have. It's a blue t-shirt. Welcome. So tonight is the night that this whole month has been leading to. We are going to discuss, I was going to say debrief, and instead I said discuss, but in a weird way. We are going to discuss the brand new Superman film, the 2025 cinematic masterpiece directed by James Gunn, reimagining who Superman is, what Superman is, brought to us by the man who, somehow made the weird comic book franchise with the talking tree and talking raccoon fan favorites for everybody. So what can that mind do when given one of the most famous superheroes of all time? He can make a damn good movie. That's it. So tonight we're talking about the brand new Superman movie. Let's see who we have in the chat. It looks like the usual suspects, my cats and my mother. So the cats are here. They did not see the new Superman movie. They did not want to come to the theater with me, but they're going to watch the show. Woot. And my mom. Hooray. Okay. Well, let's bring in our first guest for this evening. You know him. You love him. It's Lauren, everybody. Look, he has a toy.
Of course, because I'm Lauren's Toy Box. I had to, show my latest Superman toy, which is not the right one. This is the first movie.
So did you just get that? Is it new or is it vintage?
It's new. It's new. And actually relatively cheap given all the tariff situation. It was only $8.
What?
US. Yes, I know. Crazy.
That is crazy.
So, anyway, hi.
Welcome. Oh, I haven't crafted an opening night question. So I guess my question will be, what superhero do you want to see James Gunn direct in a movie next?
Ooh. Oh, that is a good question. It has to be DC. So I would like him to do. I'm going to go obscure. No, it's too dark. I'm going to go. Oh, just because he did this, Rocket and Groot. So something a little crazy along the Green Lantern lines. Kilowog. I don't know if you know this character, but he looks like a giant anthropomorphic hippo. And he's a Green Lantern, so Oh, and hi, dear mom. Hi.
Yes.
Where are the cats?
What's that?
Where are the cats?
Well, the cats will say hi in a second. I almost want to see him make a Green Lantern movie because I don't know what that is. I don't know the Green Lantern. I didn't see the original movie with Reynolds or anything, and it just seems so ridiculous. But I think James Gunn is the person to take the most ridiculous thing and somehow make it really great. So there we go. Yeah, I enjoyed seeing some Green Lantern representation in this movie. It still confused me as to what exactly this superhero or group of superheroes is, but there it is. I remember one of my very first introductions to The Onion was their parody of the Green Lantern movie when that first came out, like the original one, where it was this newscaster, an Entertainment Tonight style newscaster, who had no idea who the Green Lantern was, and the joke was that nobody at the screening knew either. So they interviewed a bunch of people outside the movie theater, and they were all just wearing Green Lantern stickers that it was suggested that they were just given to them moments before shooting, and they were like, yeah, Green Lantern, why not?
Right.
And her saying well, I guess we'll have to see what Greg Lantern has in store for him. So that's sort of my feeling towards Green Lantern. He's nobody's favorite, but we just pretend.
That's so funny.
But you know who we don't pretend is a favorite? Vince. Look, everyone, it's Vince.
Hi. Hey, fellas. How's it going?
It's going great, Vince. How are you, Vince? How do you feel about the Green Lantern?
Look, I could take him or leave him. I think John Stewart Green Lantern's my favorite. I liked
Yeah.
the way he was presented in the Justice League cartoon when I was a youngin.
Oh, I thought you
You
meant
know,
John Stewart from like the
no, no,
The
not
Daily
Daily
Show.
Show John
Yes.
Stewart. This is a very different John Stewart. But hey, we'll probably see him in the future. There's more than one Green Lantern. We know this. It's
Yeah.
mentioned. It's interesting you brought up the word debrief earlier because 2 weeks ago, the Henry Cavill Superman, he was literally debriefed in the sense that Zack Snyder got rid of the red shorts.
You're right.
But
Shiny murder dolphin.
those red undies are back. We have been rebriefed. Thank you to James Gunn.
We have been rebriefed. Did you see? I saw an interview with David. How do we say David's last name, by the way? Is it
Corn Sweat? I
Corn
just
Sweat.
say Corn Sweat.
Corn
Yeah, it's
Sweat.
Corn
Like
Sweat.
like the corn is sweating. That's weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
Pretty
corn
much,
is sweating.
The corn is sweating. I was gonna make an inappropriate joke about how David makes certain people react in terms of bodily functions, but I was like, yeah, it's a stretch. But anyway, hey, Fantastic Four stretch. No, okay. So David was saying in an interview that he like fought for the red shorts, which I thought was interesting. Like I heard that it was a decision that James essentially made like the day before they had to start shooting that costume in some capacity, and the whole discussion going back and forth was like the shorts look kind of silly. They're just funny. You can't get around how funny they are. And then David's retort was they are funny, and that's the point. He said like maybe Superman wants to be a little funny. He wants to look a little weird so that it can make people more comfortable around him because he is so powerful. He needs something that can kind of, soften that blow a little bit to make him more approachable, to be like, oh, he's wearing his underwear outside of his pants. He can't be like that intimidating. He's a normal guy like us who also wear our underwear outside of our pants, I guess. I don't know. So there it is.
Yeah, I used to rob banks, so I would put my underwear over my face. But
What?
that wasn't to disarm anyone, though. It was to conceal my identity.
Oh, okay.
Luckily, the statute of limitations is run out, so I'm good to go.
You're just used a clown mask, like in that other DC movie with the murder clown, Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, the murder clown. Yeah,
Yeah. I want to make a Joker movie just called The Murder Clown, and then he can come up against the shiny murder dolphin, aka Henry Cavill. Yeah, that's the pair up that we need. Oh no, Vince, where'd you go? Your ears, your sound. Oh no, Vince is gone. No, we can't hear you now.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Come back, Vince. Unmute.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, while Vince is addressing that, Lauren, how do you feel about the shorts? Are you pro red shorts? Do you think they're funny? Do you think they're not funny?
I'm pro red shorts, not only because it was my Superman, that's my Superman, but also there just needs to be something that balances that blue, because when the Henry Cavill suit just looked too blue to me, it just looked too. It didn't look right to me, and I like the red shorts.
Yeah, I think the red shorts do. They visually break it up. And also the S is something that I think has been interesting to track over the course of these movies, because just this costume, I think, is so difficult to bring into the 21st century because of how hokey it is. Kind of like the Captain America costume. I think they do a decent job in Captain America. Oh no, Vince, I'm going to take you out. Then wave when you're back, because I'll see you, but the people won't. There we go. I think the Captain America costume, they approach that in a really smart way because it's introduced in the first film as being corny and the product of basically just propaganda, so it kind of justifies why it looks that way. But you don't really have that. Hi, Vince. You don't really have that benefit of Superman outside of, I guess they sort of justify it in the first film with like the S is the crest of his house or his family or whatever on his ice planet. But even still, it always looks a little goofy, but I think it fits in this movie because this movie just exists in such a beautiful colorful, like comic book-esque world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the strengths. And like we'll dive into it, but I do think one of the strengths of this movie is that it has that bright, saturated, optimistic quality that I feel superhero movies have gradually been losing over the years. Not even just because of the Chris Nolan / Zack Snyder era. I almost feel like even though they were super colorful, the Tim Burton movies like introduced this concept of what if superhero films had this dark edge to them, and like it was still colorful in his way, but when we started moving out of that, I think we moved more and more towards mostly in DC world, entirely in DC world, towards like let's just take all the color and all the fun out, and this movie brought the color and the fun back.
Are you familiar with the comic that inspired this version?
No,
It's called All-Star Superman, and it's very colorful and campy.
Nice.
And I think that he really did kind of capture that essence of that storyline without actually doing the storyline.
Nice.
The comic, I should say the comic, not the storyline.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this was based on any one specific comic. I thought it was just like based on the idea.
It's based on it's inspired particularly by All-Star Superman.
Nice.
And it's really I think the first end credit scene comes from that book.
That the one with what is
where
the first
he and Crypto are
right.
On the moon?
on the moon, yeah.
Crypto?
Yeah, exactly. I brought Crypto here today.
Love it. What a bad dog. And what was the last post? I had to leave because I was on a time crunch, but what was the final post-credit scene in this movie?
That was the one where the building was slightly askew and Mr. Terrific was, Superman was kind of like going like this, and then Mr. Terrific is like, I can't, I can't deal with this.
Actually, okay, I remember now because I read an article about that scene saying that some people were reading into that was James Gunn defending his movie to be like the DC extended universe was such a mess. Like I did the best I could to start fixing it with this movie.
Yeah.
Get off the back.
Yeah.
Which, let's discuss if he was successful or not. So it's rare that we get to discuss a movie that's so new on this show. So rather than opening with what's your nostalgic connection, I just want to hear everyone's first impressions. What were your feelings when you first sat in the theater and saw this movie? We'll start with Vince. Vince, did you see it for the first time last night?
No. I saw it for the first time on Sunday, I think, or Saturday, one of the two. And I tried to see it again last night, but I couldn't. The schedule just didn't work. And you know what? I would have been happy to see it again, but I also think I got like everything that I was intended to get from a single viewing. And I saw it in 3D. I usually don't see movies in 3D, but I think it was enjoyable. I don't think it took away from my experience, so I like that. I think it's rare to see a 3D movie that doesn't feel like hokey. I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of jaded towards 3D, but it was the only thing that was playing when I went, so it was good, and I liked it. I think it was a strong start to a universe. I like that we're kind of jumping in the middle. I think that's very intentional, and I'm very happy with that because, like, with Marvel, they didn't have the luxury of knowing that Iron Man would turn into a massive universe, So I think, James Gunn knows what he's doing here. So I'm looking forward to more. But also, not every movie can be like this, Like this felt very James Gunny, and I'm okay with that. But I don't want a James Gunny Batman. I'm happy if they keep going with the Matt Reeves stuff. And that's going to be weird to see how they do it. But if they do it at all, if they even bother.
So wait, have they confirmed or do we know is the Robert Pattinson Batman? I just coined that. Robert Pattinson. Is he part of this new universe, or would there have to be a new Batman?
As far as I know, it is not confirmed.
Okay.
And as far as I know, there's like no decision been made.
So I have a shot at being the next Batman.
Absolutely, you do. We all do.
We all do. I hope James is watching this.
Yeah.
Just to throw that out there. Yeah. No, I think it's interesting that you compare this to Iron Man, which is absolutely an apt comparison because they are so different in that, like, this universe is being kicked off by one of, if not the most famous superhero, whereas the MCU was kicked off with one of the most, at the time, obscure.
Yes.
And I think at some point, I can't remember who it was, but I read an interview with one of the folks from it might have been Kevin Feige or someone else who was involved with Iron Man, at least. And they were asked, like, why do you think the DC extended universe is not working compared to the MCU? And he said, like, I think they have such a great catalog of more obscure characters, and the strength of the MCU is that it was built slowly on characters people didn't know. And then they were able to fall in love with them instead of having these high expectations because of all the comparisons that existed towards past iterations. And I think absolutely that's why the MCU worked so well. I think even Guardians is an example of taking something obscure and then it becomes so mainstream just by merit of it being approached in such a good way. But and this is interesting because you have, like, it's the exact polar opposite, but I feel like it works for whatever is being set up. Like, I think James Gunn reinvented Superman in such a clever way where I'm suddenly for the first time engaged with DC, where, like, I want more, but yeah. Lauren, what were your first initial thoughts on seeing the movie for the first time?
I really enjoyed it. I might have calmed down a little bit since the first viewing, because I came out of there going, this is the best movie ever. And that's kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of, I kind of have an issue with this and that. But overall, I think that it is a great first step into the new DCU. And for me, I think the other reason why the DC universe didn't work, the DCEU as they called it, didn't work, was because it lacked the color of the DC in general. They kind of like took Batman and said, let's just Batmanize everything. And it doesn't work with Superman. It doesn't work with, certain heroes. So it was nice to see that kind of color brought back into the world, and particularly in the world of Superman.
Yeah. Agreed. I think this is my favorite Superman movie out of all the Supermans that we've watched. But yeah. My maybe hot take is that I think David's the best Superman. I think he's better. I think he's better than Christopher Reeve.
That's fighting words for me.
I know it is.
Wow.
I said it.
That's high praise.
I guess it is. Well, is it though, or did David just deliver what everyone else should have been doing? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think, like, one of the strengths of this movie is that it subverts so many Superman tropes, but in a way that I personally, as an audience member, as someone especially who's relatively new to coming to Superman, that I was wanting to see in previous iterations. I think my biggest, I have so many things to say. Well, I'll start saying them now. Why not? That's why we're here. Well, first off, I think one thing that's really cool is the opening of the film. Like, I love the 333, which we could dig into in a little bit, but just showing him off the top of the movie, he's already Superman, but then in a moment of weakness, it just disarms us in a way that I think is really cool. And it also shows us a side of unexpected vulnerability for him, which I think is important because he is so ridiculously powerful that I feel it's hard as a character to have limitations that create stakes that are interesting in any way. But what I loved about this movie was, this is the first time that I've not hated a Lois, and in fact actually loved Lois. I loved Lois's approach in this movie. Like, I think the actresses in previous iterations were fine. I hated how Lois was written, but the actresses were all delightful, and Margaret has her place in history as like the iconic original Lois, as does Christopher as the iconic like original Superman. But my issue that I've had with a lot of the past iterations, especially with that relationship, is how shallow I felt Lois was in like ignoring Clark, but then being head over heels for Superman. And then that also kind of tied into my issues with how the Clark Superman dichotomy was approached, because I feel like I was aware of this, but the movie helped me more so articulate it for myself. What I was missing from those other films was that, like, I didn't like how Clark was dismissed by the filmmakers and the storytellers as like just this goofy parody of humans, and Superman was like his real persona. Because for my money, I feel like what makes Superman so worthwhile and like virtuous as a character is, yes, he has all the Krypton powers, except it's grounded by morality that was instilled in him through his life as Clark. Like, the Clark of it all is the heart of what makes Superman so super and so lovable and so special. And I felt like that's why I was so, and still am so, anchored with those other iterations where Lois is like, Clark is nothing. I'm like, no, Clark is everything. Clark is the reason Superman is so virtuous. It's because of the values that were instilled into him by his family, which the first movie even touches on really well, but then it's thrown out like trash when he becomes Kal-El and whatever. But this movie is so much about that, is about honoring the Kent history and the Kents as well. I love how this movie approached the Kents. And I also adored how our first intro to the dynamic between Clark and Lois was showing that they are in a very interesting dynamic relationship where she knows everything about him and she isn't more into one side of him than the other. Like, it's the whole package. And I love that. And yeah, anyway, that's my opening statement on why I love this movie. Yeah. But I'll let others say things now. Yes.
Yeah, look, I really like this movie. I wouldn't say there's still something about the Chris Reeves Superman that to me is like really charming and endearing, and like maybe it's just from a filmmaking perspective, you know, like, oh, you know, this flying scene looks really bad by modern standards, but come on, this was mind-blowing back in the day, you know, and I got to give the film a pat on the back. I would say this is my second favorite Superman. I would put this above like Brandon Routh. And I would put it like light years ahead of Man of Steel, which I think set Superman back.
Yeah.
You know, because then Man of Steel, in the wake of Man of Steel, you get a bunch of evil Superman characters like Homelander and the Boys, Omni-Man and Invincible, you know, and that sort of became a thing for a while. And now I think we've grown tired of it as a people, as a nation. And it's a good return to force for good, you know, old school, you know, traditional values, but not too traditional, you know, just a nice guy Superman. And I like that.
Being nice is punk rock. That's what
yes, that's one of the big takeaways.
Right.
I also like that we got a Superman saving animals again.
Yes.
We got him saving a squirrel. We got him saving a dog. Because look, anyone can save a dog. It takes real moral fortitude to save a squirrel.
Exactly.
You know? One thing I did not like about this movie is Lois Lane is no longer a smoker. So I don't know. I guess you got to get with the times. Hey, even if she had a vape, though, that would have been something.
I mean, this Lois does strike me as a vapor. I just don't think we saw it.
Yeah, maybe there's like deleted scenes left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah,
exactly. For me, Christopher Reeves will always be my number one Superman. It's just because you had to have been a kid in 1978 and the movies of the 70s were relatively real, based on realism and things like that. And then you got Star Wars, and all of a sudden, all of these things started coming um, into the universe that we've never seen before. And so, when it says that you could believe a man can fly, it really did. Today, of course, some of the flying scenes look a little bit hokey pokey, but to me, that was like, watching Jurassic Park for the first time, where with the dinosaurs, and you're like, oh my God, it was magical. And he was just the Superman of my age, as well. I think that David Cornswet has taken that character and really made it, more for today's ages. And I really am happy for the kids of this time period, where they get to have a Superman that is equally as delightful to me as Christopher Reeve, but Christopher Reeves always will win for me.
Oh yeah, I think Christopher Reeves is like the definitive Superman, just in terms of like setting the standard, as it were. Yeah, I think he's definitely solidified there. I think David is still my personal favorite Superman, but no, like, not to discount the legacy of Christopher, because like he set the standard for what Superman is.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. I mean, I don't. I'm not going to fight anybody that loves David Cornswet more. I mean, at least they picked a Superman that was a good Superman. You know what I mean?
I want to talk to the person who loves Henry Cavill more than David. And
well, hang on. I want to defend Henry Cavill a little bit, because I think he himself is a good Superman, and I think he really respects the character and the role. He was just consistently given terrible scripts, and they took his underpants away.
Now, do we think Henry Cavill would like fly or soar figuratively in this movie, like with this script, with this director? Not counting that he probably never would have been cast by James for this version, but like if he was there for some reason, would it work?
I think he would be acceptable.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
It's tough, apples and oranges, but I think we'd get a lot more shirtless Superman if it was Henry Cavill in this. But yeah.
Oh, we didn't get shirtless Superman in this one, did we?
No, he was fully clothed the entire time.
Fully clothed Superman. Respectable.
Oh yeah.
Respectable. All right. Well, yeah, let's talk about that opening sequence a little bit, because it threw me for a loop. First off, that we got that like very interesting introduction that gave us like 3,000 years worth of history just via a few lines of text. And then all of a sudden we see bloody Superman. And then for some reason there's a dog. And then for some reason there's robots. Like for me, it was very confusing as someone who only had 3 other Superman movies to go off of. What was everyone's reaction to the robots and to the dog? Did anyone, well, I guess we knew the dog was there because of the trailers, but still, was Crypto a surprise to anyone? I don't like that dog. He's too violent.
You didn't like Crypto?
No, ugly dog in a cape.
Wow. God damn. No, look, I think I was expecting all that, because all that stuff was shown in the trailer. But when I first saw it in the trailer, I remember reading a couple different Superman comics as a kid and be like, okay, in some tellings, yeah, he does have like high tech in his Fortress of Solitude. So to me, that suggests that James Gunn knows the source material. But I don't have a huge problem with it. And I was a little sad when 4 died. But they brought him back later, so it was all good. But, he's not the same 4, because he's just a clone, just like that other clone in the movie.
No, he's Gary now. He's
Yeah,
Gary.
he's Gary now.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, right. I can't remember the opening.
No?
I mean, I remember, like the run through history. I can't remember it for some reason.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
3,000 years ago, the Kryptons, whatever, died. 300 years ago, metahumans came out as existing. 3 decades ago, Superman showed up on planet Earth. 3 years ago, he came out as Superman to everyone. 3 minutes ago, he lost his first fight. Then, like, boom, bloody Superman.
but in terms of everything else,
Mhm.
crypto, the robots, that's all stuff that like I'm kind of familiar with. In terms of the comic books. So it wasn't jarring to me at all. But again, that's because I knew I read All Star Superman, and of course, just having read Superman throughout my life,
Mhm.
and knowing some of these things that appear. But yeah, although I will, we can discuss it a little bit later, but there is one thing that I did not like about this movie that pertains to crypto, but it's toward the very end. And
Is it Supergirl?
yes,
Who's
she is not the owner of crypto, and it bothers me.
the owner of crypto? Is it
Superman. Superman is the owner of crypto.
Now,
And he's always been the owner of crypto. She has Streaky the super cat.
what?
Yeah, Streaky the super cat. I know your cats will be delighted to know that there is a super cat.
Does he have a little cape?
Yeah, that's a
Hold
little
on.
cape.
Keep
Oh,
talking. I'm Googling it. I'm Googling.
It's like a
Streaky.
red cat. Yeah, look it up. Streaky the super cat.
Funny line from Yoda from Mark in the comments.
I love him. Oh my god! I want a cute cat in a cape.
I know. So they should have had Streaky the super cat with Supergirl at the end. That was my big complaint about the movie. Was Supergirl does not own crypto.
Well,
I did have another complaint, but that we'll get to that later.
maybe Streaky the Super Cat will show up in her movie. It'll be about her adopting Streaky.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, we have a new friend.
Yeah,
Hey!
I was feeling like I've never been on one of these without Jeanette, so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having anxiety.
Usually I induce anxiety, not relieve it. But that's
You did great, though, Lauren. You did great. Jeanette, welcome. We're talking about super dogs, super cats, and
yeah.
why David Cornsweat, in my opinion, is the best Superman over Christopher Reeves.
I think you and I are going to agree about a lot on this movie. It's my favorite Superman movie so far, considering I hadn't seen any before this month, and now I've seen all, at least the original movies of them. David Cornsweet was my favorite. This was my favorite Lex Luthor. This was my second favorite Lois Lane, but favorite Lois Lane as far as all the writing goes. Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much favorites across the board. Jimmy Olsen, same thing.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. Some Jimmy representation in this movie.
Yeah, and I
loved Eve.
God, honestly, all the attention paid in this movie. I mean, I loved this movie. If we're talking about my first impression.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, so the big thing that I wanted to discuss, and I was waiting for Jeanette to arrive before diving into this. One of the most interesting things about this movie is the approach taken to the parents, the Kryptonian parents. Let's dive into that. I'm curious to know, especially from Lauren, with your familiarity with the source material, have they ever been portrayed in the way that they are in this movie? I guess spoilers, but who cares for anyone who's watching that maybe haven't seen this, but this movie made the, at least in terms of film, unprecedented choice to present the Superman parents from Krypton as being evil. Well, like debatable, were they evil or not? But
They seem pretty evil.
I don't know.
I
I
don't know
feel
about
like
evil. I think they just don't consider other planets care.
Yeah,
I think they're like, we care about our people and our planet.
Like from their perspective, I understand what they were going for. So for those, I guess basically my cats and my mom who might not know what we're saying, in this movie, they are like, it's framed that Superman has a video message from his parents, but it was like half of it was lost in translation or like just lost to technology. So he only has the first half where they're like, we're sending you to Earth. We love you. Our planet's dying. Be good. And then the second half of the message is recovered pretty early on in this film, where they go on to say, the people of Earth are a primitive people. They're stupid. It's up to you to have a harem of hundreds of wives, repopulate, have lots of children. And then when the people of Earth find out, then they're like, we thought he was a hero, but oh no, he's just here to like spread his super seed and take over. Yeah. So what do we think?
When I hear harem, I think sex slavery, especially in the context described here. How is that not evil? Like what the hell? Like, come on, like these.
Well, we don't know if in this world Krypton doesn't have harems. It might be that any man in power has harems. Like it might just be the norm. Yes, that is still evil to anybody who has a just mind. But like to them, in their mind's eye.
We also have to consider cultural differences between Krypton and Earth, and also maybe there's not a proper word in English for what they said, and harem was the closest.
Right, could have been.
Yeah, like comfort houses. Do you think they meant that? Because that has a pretty negative connotation too. As far as I know, anyone familiar with like World War II?
I'm sure. To your point, Vince, I'm sure they didn't mean a women's book club. Like they weren't like gather these women together and show them the way of the light. They were like gather these women together and make babies. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, something I noticed about this. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with the lore of Dragon Ball Z.
Nope.
But okay, well, the plot of that is the main characters are a martial artist, and then like 800 chapters in, you find out, oh, he's actually a martial artist from another planet. And the planet is a bunch of like a warrior race called the Saiyans. And they send the babies to other planets to eventually conquer them. But since Goku received a head injury as a child after landing on Earth, he became a good guy. And he forgot, like, he's supposed to conquer the planet. Now, Goku is clearly inspired by Superman, so I think it's only fair that they kind of like take it back a little bit, with some give and take. It's all good,
No, that's true. Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah, and rest in peace to the writer of Dragon Ball Z, Akira Toriyama, who passed earlier this year, I believe.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Anyway, the way that Jor-El and Lara are portrayed in the comics, there are many different interpretations, or like ways in which they had portrayed them. Some of them good, some of them not so good. So this kind of falls in line. It's not my favorite. I mean, but I think that it worked for the movie, and it was. Because he had, this was the one thing though, another thing that kind of I had an issue with. His motivation to be good was through Jonathan and Martha Kent, not his parents from Krypton. Mm-hmm. So he said that message was the reason why he was doing good. And I thought, no, that's not right. So I did have an issue with it in that level, but in terms of being a technologically advanced race that would be super powered on this planet, and that they picked this planet specifically for him to have the superpowers, it makes sense that that's what they would want to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. I will say, while we're on the parent bit, the number one thing that I did not like about this movie was the fact that somebody somewhere got it past a bunch of other people that somehow Bradley Cooper should be freaking Jarrell.
Why?
Who thought that was a good idea?
What's wrong with that?
I totally didn't recognize
He looks
him.
the same age as David Cornsweet, which I get. He would have been like he was a baby, and he would have. I don't. It's also Bradley Cooper, and they didn't do anything. He's just Bradley Cooper in a white robe. Like he could have been straight out of The Hangover. Throw a white robe on him. There he is.
Admittedly, I didn't recognize him. I thought they went with an unknown actor for that role.
Come on,
I know,
Matt.
get with me.
Seriously?
I walked out of the movie and my sister was like, like, what did you think of Bradley Cooper as Jor-El? I'm like, what?
I can't believe y'all didn't recognize. But thank God, it's just this incoherent bit that we get out of him. We didn't have to have any actual. I think he's a good actor, but I could not have taken him as Jarrell in this movie if he needed to actually act.
What if this is the movie that gets Bradley his Oscar? Imagine.
Oh, Jesus.
My understanding is that Bradley Cooper fought tooth and nail to play this role with a prosthetic nose, and James Gunn had to wrestle it out of his hands on set.
So I think he got the job purely because he's worked with James Gunn so damn much.
Well, no, apparently James scouted him. Like he specifically, I read an article about this where James intentionally went to Bradley because his justification was like, this is a role that was played by Marlon Brando and then Russell Crowe, and he was like, we need someone of that caliber for this generation. And since he had worked with Bradley, he was like, it's Bradley. Bradley's clearly the guy to follow in the footsteps of Marlon Brando.
Who goes Marlon Brando, Bradley Cooper? Like, who in their brain goes Marlon Brando, Bradley Cooper?
Well, who else? Who would you have gone with if you wanted to have a Marlon Brando?
Well, do you know who's about to play Marlon Brando, and he almost needs no prosthetics, and he looks just the frick like him?
Austin Butler.
No, Billy Zane is about to play him, and he looks just like him. And I love Billy Zane. I would have taken a Billy Zane Jarrell.
I would have picked Pedro Pascal.
I mean, can we just have like an Eddie? Can we just have an Eddie Murphy style movie with Pedro Pascal where he just plays like all the roles?
Yeah,
he's in every role.
I'm not convinced he wasn't everybody in Fantastic Four, but that's just my own personal theory. Yes, they stretched him quite thin in that film.
Wicca.
But yeah, I guess to bring it back to evil Kryptonian parents, I think this goes hand in hand with what I already said I love about this movie is that I think that setup really sets us up for this to be a movie that explores why Superman, the human / character, has any value or virtue. Like, it's not by merit of him coming from a higher species that are just inherently good. It's by merit of him making certain choices. And like, it goes hand in hand with his speech at the end. He's like, I'm just as human as everyone else. When you cut me, do I not bleed? Like when he has his pseudo Shakespeare monologue, it's like, I'm a human too.
I gotta say this to the point of what we were talking about earlier, with them not knowing whether or not, whether we know if they're good or not. I had a point and I just lost it about like them. They seem, the Kryptonians, the approach they take in this movie, if we're not going to call them like bad or evil, I feel like it's almost Vulcan, the way they approach things. They're like, this planet is full of people that are, in our mind, lesser than you. You will obviously you will do well here. Like, to me, that's like a very Vulcan thing, if anybody's familiar with.
What does that mean?
Star Trek. So Vulcans are they're emotionless and they're extremely logical, and they only do the most logical thing.
I know people like that.
See, there you go. Well, Vulcans are actually pointed out as like being on the spectrum if you want to like associate with someone. Some people associate with Vulcans if they don't feel much emotion towards things. And so I really feel like if we're gonna, like, we're saying they're not bad, they're not evil. I personally feel like it falls more into that category of like the whole like emotionless logical thing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, if you watch Star Trek Enterprise, they tell us that the Vulcans were pretty racist to us at first, and they only teamed up with us because you know, they had so many enemies.
Yeah, because we're inferior.
Yeah.
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 But it turns out we have great engineers, and we caught up pretty quickly.
Nice.
Well, and as Dr. Spock, or Dr. Spock, Mr. Spock, Dr. Spock is a baby doctor.
Hey, can I just say he's the science officer. He should also be a doctor, you know?
Yeah, right. But like they just they see us as inferior, but then he learns in the end that emotion is the true strength.
And I think that's beautiful.
But yeah, I think that it's nice that Kal-El comes out of it with the human part being his strength.
Yeah.
You should go through the comments in the. It's a funny comments I've been reading.
What a cryptocurrency was his downfall.
TV Cooper. That one killed me.
Well done, folks.
That would be hilarious. Oh my god.
Love it. I had something I wanted to say and I can't remember what it was now. Oh well, maybe it'll come back. Well, while I'm trying to remember, let's talk about Lex. How did we all feel about Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor? I loved him. I loved everything.
Yes.
Hence, I mean, I also do agree with this, but I just love the moment when he's like, I don't know what dog you're talking about. Ugly dog. It's like, so he's just so infuriating. And so, like, this is the first Lex I've seen that I am captivated by. And just
that I'm actually emotionally triggered by. Like,
Yeah.
Gene Hackman was great and he was hilarious, but I never once felt threatened by him. He seemed like a buffoon. He was a total buffoon. And then we didn't get a Lex in the one last week, right? And then the one the week prior was Kevin Spacey, and I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's too evil.
I didn't feel he himself is evil, but
He's not acting. Yeah.
No, his Lex just was like mamby-pamby. I was like, okay, whatever. Like this Lex was like, I felt irritated and triggered and angry, and it was great.
Yeah, he was definitely more like the Lex Luthor in the comic books. Just this kind of ingenious guy who, you know, could match Superman with wits. I mean, his brain. That's how he would defeat Superman, is being so smart and being able to. But he was also very ruthless. Like when he shot that one guy. Oh my God, that actually kind of got me.
Yeah.
Even though I know that it is something in line with his character, but it really, like, you know, just because I had grown up with Gene Hackman, Superman, Superman, Lex Luthor, you know, and to have, and then Kevin Spacey was basically playing Gene Hackman in Superman Returns. So you have this now Lex Luthor that is super ruthless, and I thought he was amazing. He was, to me, even better than Superman.
Yeah, I think there were so many things that I loved, but I think a big key component is that I just felt he worked really well opposite David Cornsweet. Like, I felt like both of them were equals in a way that's hard to describe. Like, they had really good chemistry, and they were
matching intensity.
And
I find that's really hard to find especially in comic book movies. Matching intensity and matching, like, the comedic level.
Yeah.
Like, Cornsweet he was throwing in his things here and there, and Lex Luthor, he was throwing in his things here and there, but it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't the whole thing, and it also wasn't absent. And I felt like they both had met each other. Whereas you put Eve in a scene with someone, right? She's all comedy.
Yeah.
And that's great, but you need somebody who's more up here than Superman, and that's why Lex is in scenes with her, but it's not like Hackman and his chick. They're not in scenes just alone almost ever. There's always somebody else there playing off of them, I felt. And I did love that they made Eve almost exactly like Hackman's person in the first one, because she was one of the funniest parts of the whole thing. That was freaking great.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, let's celebrate Eve. I loved Eve. Just even from the very first sequence where she was selfieing while all the destruction was happening, I just thought, like, James Gunn, what are you doing? Why is I'm so engaged and confused right now that you have this girl who's just taking selfies while destruction is happening, and then for that to be a seed planted that had such a good payoff at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
So
with the whole that scene, I wanted to touch on that scene Lauren was talking about where Lex takes that guy out. First of all, that right there, when that happened, I went, oh yes, this is a James Gunn movie. Like that part right there, if you didn't get it before then that these are going to be different, that moment right there, I thought screamed James Gunn. Not just because somebody died, but because like it was intense. It was an extremely intense moment. Leading me into, I don't understand why all these people, one of the biggest feedbacks I'm hearing is that this movie isn't serious enough. I think because people are so used to all the gritty, dark comic book movies.
the movie is so serious.
People say it's not serious enough and that there's too much comedy. And I'm like, this is the only comic book movie I can recall in recent history where someone gets taken out like that. So no, as far as it being too, I'm like, I think it's serious enough. It's good. And then also in that scene, and Lauren, maybe you can talk about this. I didn't know that weird thing that looks like freaking backrooms internet fodder, Mr. Handsome, the guy rowing the boat or whatever, like driving the little thing.
Oh yeah.
No, not Metamorpho. That's the guy that helps him in the end, right? That's the guy that teams up with them. The guy driving the boat that is like skeletal and like, he looks all crazy and stuff, and he's got big eyes. So I read up about him. He is Lex Luthor created him, and when he was trying to create life, like just create, like he's like his Frankenstein. Like he was just trying to create a person, and this is what he's got. And I didn't know there's a scene, if you look in the movie, he has a framed picture of Mr. Handsome on his desk like it's his child.
Yeah, he's the only person that Lex kind of loves.
Yeah, I knew nothing about him, and then that really, like, now I want like a whole little origin thing about him.
Are we talking about the clone?
Maybe.
No,
I don't know. It's called Mr. Handsome, I guess, is the name of the character.
I'm trying to remember who this was.
In the Pocket universe, he's the guy that's piloting the ship, the craft that brings them.
He's like a tall, white, like bony figure.
God, for some reason, my brain is totally blanking.
But to your, like you've mentioned Metamorpho, Lauren, I didn't realize when we were watching the movie that's who that's going to end up being, is that guy, and like now he's like a part of the Justice League and stuff.
Oh,
here he is.
But he's got a clown nose on there. He didn't have a clown nose on in the movie.
So cute.
Oh my God, I remember him, but now I can't. I don't know him from the comics. He might have been in it, but I can't.
Maybe he's not a very big character, but I just was so intrigued. I love little side stories, and I think that's what James Gunn does really well, is he includes all these characters from tiny little divots in the universes that he's given, and he makes them matter. He makes them have a story. He gives them a face. Like, I love what he does with the fabric of these things.
Absolutely. A great example of that would be in the James Gunn Suicide Squad that came out a few years ago.
Yes.
Polka Dot Man is someone no one's ever heard of.
Best freaking part of that movie.
Absolutely. But then the others too, like Ratcatcher and the shark guy, Stallone is the shark guy.
Man, God, and that guy's such a good actor. Oh, so good. But yeah,
have
that
you seen
movie,
the Peacemaker television show?
I saw the first 3 episodes. My husband's addicted to it, and they're about to come out with
so good.
It's so great.
So good.
And it was good to see John Cena in this for a hot second.
Oh God, that
want to watch
so
all these
cool.
James Gunn movies.
Oh, you have to.
But isn't Suicide Squad really bloody?
Not any more or less than this. I don't. Man,
don't watch the first one.
The non-James Gunn one?
Yeah, don't watch that. The David Ayer one, I think.
Yeah, don't watch that anyway. Don't watch that at all.
The second one was a lot more campy, even though there was bloodiness. It was like campy and colorful.
It's
I mean,
James
like,
Gunn.
you know, the
It's
polka dot
campy,
man.
but bloody.
And Idris Elba too. He's fantastic.
Yeah, but James Gunn tortured me with Guardians 3. Like I have to tread lightly when it comes to James Gunn now.
Yeah,
There's
don't
no.
worry.
It's just the animals, though. You know that. You know the only reason we have problems with Guardians 3 is the animals. If there's no animals,
Actually,
no problem,
true.
right?
True.
Do you care about giant starfish?
No, I don't.
Oh,
like
then
No,
you're gonna
that's-
love
yeah,
this
you're
movie.
good.
You're
Okay.
If
gonna
you
love
don't care
this
about
movie.
giant one-eyed starfish, then you're
Yeah.
Starro,
love it.
which was one of the Justice League's first villains.
Oh wow.
Starro.
well. And then he got it on. He hit the nail on the head. That was hilarious.
Oh, James Gunn. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no. I guess just to sort of build on that. Yeah, one of the things I really appreciate about this movie is how detailed and how layered it is. There was just so much happening, but in a way that wasn't confusing. It was just so well thought out and so well developed. Like the fact that you had these subplots that were still relevant to the main plot, but equally engaging, like the Jimmy and Eve thing, which adorable.
I loved that. I loved how it played a role in the movie.
Mhm.
Also, I don't know if anybody here watches Righteous Gemstones. Does anybody watch Righteous Gemstones? No. That guy is a main character in Righteous Gemstones. He is such a phenomenal actor because he plays a really in this one. He's like, I don't know, maybe he's doing the same thing. He plays a really great straight man against really ridiculous or over the top characters. And so I think that might have been one of the things that got him the role with that chick, was because he knows exactly how to do it and not seem out of place and not seem like put off, you know? I thought that he was a really great pick for that.
Oh yeah, he was just the whole movie is so well cast. Like, I think that's one of the strengths of it. And again, I love Lois. It's the only Lois that I've liked.
Lois.
Yeah.
Yes,
I like Amy Adams, but the writing for her unfortunately let her down.
like I like her just by merit of the fact that it's Amy Adams and she's always at the very least fine. And I thought she was fine in that, but just like combination of writing plus the right actor and just good chemistry with the Superman and the fact that she got a really engaging subplot of her own. I really appreciate it.
I also can I talk about where we started at in the stories for all these characters? I love the spot that James Gunn chose to start with everybody. I like that Lex Luthor was already an established character with an established like notoriety in this world. Superman is a known character. Lois and Superman know what's going, like she knows what's going on. We don't have to go through all these formalities. Like we get to the meat and the potatoes real quick without feeling rushed and without feeling like we're lost in some world.
Yeah, and I love that they just gave us a world where it's not even just Superman, but it's a world that where just superheroes are the norm and it's accepted to the point where they could have that scene between Lois and
in the apartment building where the stuff's happening outside.
The stuff's happening outside, which is just like there are just so many layers to that as to why that's so brilliant. Like for world building, the fact that there is like a mass destruction thing happening, which in any other movie could be the climax of the film, but here just like others will deal with it.
Which I will say that seems specifically to Lauren's point, talking about Lauren Envent's talking about the starfish and all that. That felt like it made it puzzle piece with Suicide Squad. That one scene really, really well. It's like, oh, we're in the Gunniverse now. Like I saw Peacemaker. I see how this fits into Suicide Squad.
Is that thing in the Gunnerverse? Like
no, just the way they portrayed it. Okay. The way it looked in the city, the way it was moving, the way people were reacting. Everything felt like it did in Suicide Squad with the big giant monsters, and it made sense. And I was like, oh, he's really done a great job of creating this feeling and this vibe in this world.
Yeah, and it justified having something really aesthetically beautiful as well in the background, even though it's destroying things. You have this really nice, intimate scene between the two characters who I love, and then yes, the world is being destroyed outside, but also it's really pretty. Like it's kind of romantic for their scene where he says, "I love you." It just everything comes together so well.
I thought that the interview was one of the best fight scenes in the movie. I'm all about verbal fighting, and I thought that was so intense and good.
It was so real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
and it really like highlighted how smart she is as a journalist.
yeah.
These are the questions that journalists should be asking, you know. And I
Yeah.
thought that was really that was one of my favorite parts of the movie was the interview, and you know that wasn't even like a really a Superman thing per se. I mean, yes, it was because he was being interviewed, but
Okay, you know what I loved about that, Lauren? At the
yeah,
beginning of that scene, when he comes in there and he's in the outfit, right? Like he's in the outfit to give the interview, right? Am I wrong?
No, he's in his
no,
Clark.
he was
He's Clark.
he was dressed as Clark.
He was in okay. So, but he sits down. Maybe it's just because he was so good at putting on like
Yeah.
the demeanor. But when he sits down, I almost feel like there's something vaguely sexual or sensual about the interview at first, and then like you feel that crack, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, no, you know, and it's like then it turns into this, and that's how fights start, like emotional relationship fights. And I thought that was just so.
Oh yeah.
He brings all this humanness into it, like so well.
Yeah, and I think that scene is so brilliant because it speaks to what I feel this movie does so well overall, where it's taking a very familiar trope for a Superman movie, like the Lois and Superman interview, which has shown up in some form in basically every Superman movie, at least that we've watched. And it's opening with that, and then it totally flips it on its head, but in a way that is just so perfect for who these characters are, and such a good introduction to the world, and there's just so much layered into it. It's so good. It's so good. It's almost like it reminds me of the opening dialogue scene in The Social Network, which is just two people talking and having a fight, but the dialogue is so engaging and it sets you up for the rest of the movie that by the end of it you're just like locked in for whatever's going to happen for the next 2 hours. It's like the Superman version of that.
Yeah, yep. It is amazing. I think James Gunn might be the only person that I can say, maybe other than like, I don't know, maybe like a James Cameron or somebody, but I like his explosive Michael Bay self and his, you know, Scorsese or Spielberg talky self. Like I love, he does both things equally well. I'm not like, oh, you do this much better than that, or you do that much better than, like, everything is so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, and like, yeah, just so many layers. Like the fact that guy who Lex just ruthlessly killed, apparently, and I didn't notice this just because so much is happening in this movie, how he's saying like, don't tell him anything, Superman, don't worry about me, I don't have a family. But apparently we see his family earlier on in the movie. But just the fact that like you have an entire story just based around this character who probably only has 5 lines total, but it's just such
because he just all he did was help Superman out of a hole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was like pretty much all he did.
There's just so much there. It's so good. It's so
And
well
I like that. I mean, I almost feel like James Gunn took little moments from all the preceding Supermans and went, I like that. I like that. And like that moment was like the one last week where he didn't want to kill the humans, but had to because of Michael Shannon and all of that. Like, it's the thing that eats him up the most, to have to hurt humans. And I thought that was the little bit he plucked from the one last week, you know? Like, I was like, oh, that is a noticeable thing. This thing is anguishing him more than anything else we see anguish him in the entire movie, as far as emotional and mental anguish, that he cannot save that person.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, I just wanted, I have a little like aside here, because like, I wonder if this is like a connection or like a tribute, perhaps. Like James Gunn included a character who's like, his livelihood is selling Middle Eastern cuisine. And then if you go back to the first Avengers, they're eating shawarma at the end of that. Is this James Gunn saying, I'm going to blow the Avengers out of the water? This is it for the MCU? I'm back, baby. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I think you
I don't know,
Vince.
Maybe. I think I'm gonna get a phone call from James Gunn.
He's already calling. He's already calling.
Well, my phone's on silent, so he's gonna have to wait.
Screw you, Gunn.
Okay, let's talk about the Kents. I think that's been one of the other equally, maybe not even controversial, but it's been one of the things that people have been discussing a lot is how this movie approaches Martha and whatever the dad's name is, Pa Kent.
Jonathan, I thought.
Jonathan,
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, like, and I've seen some people like who have been upset or unsettled that like they were so drastically different from how those characters have been portrayed previously. Also, it kind of subverts expectations again because Papa Kent survives, doesn't die in this, and
That surprised me and made me happy because I kept waiting for the thing that I was like, when are they gonna kill? When are they gonna kill Kent? When are they gonna kill Papa Kent? And they never did. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, that means we're getting a second one because you got to kill the dad at some point, right?
Well, I don't know about that because, like, look, Pa Kent is not Uncle Ben. You know, he doesn't have to die.
He doesn't have to.
You know,
Oh, I
And-
thought he had to. Is that not a? Does not
I
does that not
don't
happen in
think
every
so. I don't-
Superman storyline?
no, I don't think the death of a father figure is as ingrained in Superman's story as it is in Spider-Man. You know, but like, you know, I feel like there's some leeway there, and I don't mind. You know, I enjoyed the fact that he's still alive. I don't want to see this guy have a
do
heart
too.
attack
I
in
just
the
thought
field.
he had to. I thought that's part of the story.
And the icing on the cake was that he's actually giving good advice, not like Man of Steel Pa Kent, who is pretty awful
That was
all around.
Kevin Costner,
Yeah,
That was the
who
worst.
should have been a great dad, but instead over the phone went,
yeah.
you know, what was that? That was awful.
yeah.
I will say the guy who plays Papa Kent, I'm trying to find his name again because I can never remember his damn name.
Wasn't he in
But-
Civil War?
He's in a number of things. His name is Pruitt Taylor Vance. If you ever saw Identity, the movie Identity, he's in that.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
really freaking good in that movie. He's in a lot of things. He's one of those people that like you sit down and you look at his IMDb and you go, oh my God. But like I saw him and I went, oh, I'm so glad this guy's still acting because he's a great everything he's in, he shows up. Like he's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was just so pleasantly surprised with them, and I was hesitant in the first half of the movie, or just not hesitant. I was disappointed because I felt like the Kents weren't going to play a huge role, just outside of the one scene when they were on the phone. She was like, Clark, can you hear me? And does that combined with the fact that in the Fortress of Solitude, when it's like, play the video of his parents, he finds it comforting. And then we just see the hologram of evil alien parents. I thought this movie was just going to betray what I love about Superman, which is, again, the Kents instilling values in him. But then the fact that that became the point and the heart of the movie, that at the very end, it comes back to like, he recognizes that those are his real parents. And then that's the footage he watches at the end. It made me so happy.
Yeah. That was another very Gunn moment. I felt it was very like those touching moments in like the Guardians Christmas special. Like I just
When they kidnap Kevin Bacon.
I don't know. It's just the way he does sentimentality. I really love James Gunn's sentimentality because it's usually accompanied by like a rock song or something.
I love the way that the Kents were portrayed in this, and it was a saving grace for me that when he talked about the how Jor-El and Lara's message was the thing that inspired him. In the end, it really was the Kents, you know, and I think that he really felt that. And again, that's why he looked at the footage of them at the end of the movie, was because these are his parents, you know,
Yeah.
and this is how he was raised.
And they gave him his humanness, which he now views as his strength. He doesn't view his Kryptonianness as his strength.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this is the best Superman movie.
I think so too. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, I guess. Yeah, you missed it, Jeanette. That was my hot take at the beginning. Was just that.
Oh, well, that's I'm.
Yeah.
Hot
And
take
that I
taken,
prefer
because
David
I
over
agree.
Christopher as well. Even though I respect Christopher as
I
legacy
respect Christopher,
Superman.
he's an originator, but we've
Yeah.
had this discussion about other characters before. You can totally love the originator and then later on be like I love Gene Wilder. I'm in a very small group of people that absolutely adores Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka, and I'll go to my grave with that. Like I will die on that hill. I think he's a great Willy Wonka. Doesn't mean Gene Wilder's not. They can both be great.
I'm so
Willy
glad
Wonka.
that you that your Wonka of choice is Johnny Depp and not Timmy.
Oh, come
God. See, I
on.
don't even think about Timmy.
Come on.
He's like Batfleck. I'm like, that didn't happen.
Come
Hashtag not my
on.
Wonka. Hashtag not my Wonka.
Not a Wonka.
He's a wanker, but not a Wonka.
He's
Exactly.
he's the Willy Wonka from that Scottish experience. He's the Willy Wonka from
That's
that
a
one.
deep cut.
That's good. I adore it.
Can I say one thing that stood out to me that maybe nobody else noticed at all
Well,
in
what?
this movie? When they're evacuating Metropolis, or what is it, Metropolis, whatever.
Yeah.
There is a lady. They show a bunch of different people grabbing things. You know, somebody's got a lamp and a pillow and whatever. There is an old lady running with a terrarium like this, and it has two little yellow-bellied sliders in it, sloshing around in there, and that's my turtle. So I thought that was so cute that there was a little representation of turtle owners like running away for the end of the world.
See, there's something for everyone. James Gunn.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it. I liked in that scene how there was a street sign that like was directing people to Gotham. I saw that was fun.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I liked that he spent time showing us the evacuation of the city. So now we're not left to assume everyone's dead.
Everybody was dead. Yeah. That's the thing that I liked about the wanton mass destruction in this movie, was knowing that they evacuated the city.
Yeah.
Which I
They actually showed us that for once. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just like in Man of Steel, there was we were just left to believe everybody was able to run out of the movie, run out of the building, and run through the debris and and all of the things that are falling on top of them, and still survive.
Yeah. No, I love that they addressed it in this movie. I also loved, what's the name of the guy? Mr. Fantastic?
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. I'm sorry. Fantastic. It's Fantastic Four. Duh.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific. I was like, I've never heard of this character. This is amazing. This guy's really cool. I don't know, that whole, and especially in the ending scene, like how important he is to it. I'm like, I love when he's like, what does he tell the guy? He says something like, something about instructions, or he's gonna tell him how to do it, and he goes, yeah, I don't need you. And he sits down and like does it. Oh my god, I don't know. I just really liked him. He was really funny.
I will say
he was amazing in that movie.
His mask scares me. Like just the
I
fact
really
that
liked it. It looked like the guy from Static X. It's so
It's
cool.
very comic book accurate, though. That's the way he looks like in the comic.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen the comics as well, but I don't know, just something. I just find it so unsettling that it moves so well with his face.
Yeah, and
His mask.
if we're gonna talk about casting, I had no problem with it, but really weird to randomly choose Nathan Fillion for a freaking Green Lantern.
Except he's not the same Green Lantern though as the Ryan
Green
guy,
Lantern.
right? Like
no,
it's a
he's
different
a
character.
Green Lantern.
Who is
Yes, he's a Green Lantern. There are many Green Lanterns across the universe. So
apparently one's a hippo. Is that right? Do we say hippo?
they have one of like almost everything. There's everything is a Green Lantern. There could be a hippo, there could be a cockroach. I don't know. There's like so many things that are Green Lantern.
There's one Green Lantern that's an actual Green Lantern. I don't know. That comic didn't really go anywhere, but
I was about to ask you if it was a Coleman, and then I couldn't think of another camping equipment brand. I was going to ask if it was a Coleman or like an REI lantern.
I hate that. I that's where I draw the line for the Gunnerverse. I will not see the Green Lantern movie about the actual Green Lantern.
No, but I did love that it was Nathan Fillion, and I don't know if it's in the comic book or but like I don't know if his hair is that hair in the comic book.
It's legit.
Yeah, in the comic book he has that bowl cut.
But it's not even like
so bad.
It's like a bowl cut, but it's uneven.
He did it himself.
It's like he did it himself, exactly. It's like this is a bowl cut, but it's like
with his ring, with a big pair of green photon scissors.
But I did love him as a Green Lantern, man. His cocky attitude goes in almost any sci-fi movie. It's great.
Yeah. And hey, Hawk Girl was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I thought she was great. She had one of the best moments in the film where she eliminated a certain world leader, going beyond shoving a cactus up his ass, which I like from Superman too. But
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, anyway, anything else we want to talk about with this movie before we do the game?
Game time.
Game time? All right.
Bring it on.
yeah. Give me 1 second.
Oh, wait, Vince has
Remember,
to talk
I
about
can't
the
write.
political allegory. Vince, come back. Talk about the political allegory.
Oh, what? Well, I don't know. Free Palestine, Fuck. I don't know what to tell you, dog. I like Superman getting in on a world issue on what, I'm agreeing with him on this one. He's got to stop the war, and it's clearly a one-sided war. One side's being starved by the other. So I don't know what to tell you.
I can't believe that anybody's calling this a woke movie. I'm like, first of all, this conflict that's going on right now, not the only one that's occurred like this, even in the last 30 years. So
Yep.
they could be talking about anybody. It's a very generic system of things that happen in war. People get starved out by the bad guy. It doesn't even have to be what's happening right now. So this whole thing about Superman's super woke about what's happening right now, I'm like, no, if this movie was talking about 30 years ago, it would be relevant. It would still hold. So,
Well, no, since 1938, he has been an immigrant to the planet.
Yeah.
He
not
was
only
an
that,
immigrant.
but
It's
has
always
literally-
been an immigrant story.
and has always literally been wrapped up in wartime stories, right? Superman
yeah.
has been a part of wartime stories since World War II.
Yeah.
To say that it's woke to involve a wartime storyline in this movie is absolutely insane because Superman has been in wartime stories since the Second World War.
Now, how do we feel about the claim that Superman was using these Jarhunpurians as human shield? I don't think that's. I think that's an odd
relevant at
claim.
all. No.
I think anyone who's making that claim as a political angle, that is probably something I disagree
I think
with.
they
But
went
anyway.
to this movie with an idea of what they wanted to think about this movie before they went to this movie.
Oh, yeah.
If that's what they found.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had a Green Lantern pencil crayon once.
Green
A green
Laurentian.
Laurentian pencil crayon.
Oh, that's very Canadian. That's very
Oh,
Canadian.
do Americans not have Laurentian color pencils?
No, it's only for us.
What does Laurentian mean?
Wow, it must be French.
Mais
Some
ouais.
French Canadian pencils.
Très bien.
Does it mean green?
No,
No, it's the brand.
Oh.
it's like the go-to
No, I
brand of
never
pencil
heard that.
crayons, especially when you're in like
And
grade
y'all
school.
have pencil crayons?
Yeah. Like, what is the pencil crayon?
Is that a colored pencil?
It's a colored pencil, yeah.
Okay, we call them colored pencils. I was like, what is a pencil crayon? Is it an extra thin? Is it a Virginia
I
Slims
know.
crayon? It's a Virginia
Well, hang on,
Slims.
hang on. Now you're
I'm
supposed to
pencil
call them
crayon.
pencils of color now.
Oh my God.
That's
No,
just
you
my
only have to
take,
call
though.
them that if it's the colors of the world box.
Ah.
Okay,
Oh.
time for the game. Here we go. All right. So, for tonight's game, in honor of all the Supermen who have played Superman, I'm going to name an actor who has played Superman. And you actually don't have to write anything down because only one of you will get a point. Whoever blurts out what they played Superman in first will get the point. None of these things are just called Superman. I made sure of that. So,
Oh man.
So these are like Supermen in other things.
these are Supermen. These are guys who have played Superman in something, a movie, a TV show, a cartoon. Maybe it is Superman centric. Like maybe it's an entire movie that is about Superman. It's just not called Superman.
So it's none of the ones we watched this month.
I'm not saying, no, I wouldn't go that far.
But these are all called
So
Superman.
are we supposed to say the actor's name?
No, I'm going to give you the actor's name. You tell me the thing that they played Superman in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And just none of the titles
Thing?
are just Superman.
Oh, so
that
there's a
eliminates-
subtitle if there's a
Yeah, so
Superman title.
it eliminates the Christopher Reeve movies and it eliminates this movie because both of those are just called Superman.
And are they all Superman things, or
Wait,
some
what
of them
about Superman 2?
Christopher
that
Reeve's
has a
not on the
2.
list, so,
Okay.
so I
Are there any super people in this? Is there super boy, super girl?
no, these are all specifically people who have played Superman.
Okay.
Some of them are
What,
cartoons.
what
Some
about
of
the
them
Steven
played
Spielberg film Super 8? Does that count? No. Let's go.
That wasn't-
I'm sorry.
That wasn't Spielberg. That was J.J. Abrams.
Oh, was it? Oh, fuck. My mistake.
It was produced by Spielberg.
That's true.
Ah.
All right, here we go. And some of these guys did play Superman in more than one thing, so I'll accept anything, like any one title that you give me.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. I messed up my list. There we go. All right, here we go. We'll start easy. Henry Cavill. Name something.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Yeah, Vince. I heard Vince first. There we go.
Okay.
I also would have accepted Batman v Superman or Justice League.
Okay.
All right. Next, hold on. I'm going to delete him from the list. Should I do a really hard one next? Yeah, why not? Channing Tatum.
Oh God, what did
Oh.
Magic Mike?
Tatum was a Superman?
I was like, maybe he put on a Superman costume in that one. I don't know. It's not. Not Logan Lucky. The frick did Channing
Would anyone
Tatum?
like a hint?
Yeah, sure.
I have no idea.
Channing Tatum was Superman in the same capacity that Will Arnett was Batman.
Oh,
Lego
Oh,
Superman.
Lego.
Lego Movie is correct, Lauren. There we go.
Ah.
All right. Next. Tom Welling.
Oh, Smallville.
Smallville. Very good.
Oh,
Ah.
Okay. George Reeves.
The original TV
Superman TV show.
Superman.
It had a title though.
Superman, the TV show.
Adventures of Superman.
Adventures of Superman is correct, Lauren.
Ah.
All right. Darren Criss.
In a
Oh.
music video?
The Justice League cartoon.
Ooh, you're close, but no.
Justice League Unlimited.
No.
Ah.
Darren Criss isn't a band, right?
Darren Criss was on Glee.
Oh, I always get him confused with one of the guys from like Panic at the Disco or something.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, I always think that's who. Okay. Did he play him in Glee?
No.
Oh.
Was it Injustice?
No, it was a cartoon.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying. There's so many of them that I can't even think.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the Superman cartoons.
Oh.
Are any of these video games?
No.
Damn. I was like, Injustice. I know that one.
Okay, give a hint. Give a hint.
It was a movie, and I think it came out in like 2020 or fairly recently.
That's not it. That's
The
not
Death
it.
of Superman.
No.
All-Star Superman.
Superman does Dallas.
No, it is Superman, Man of Blank.
Tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow is correct. Vince, I
Yeah.
heard you say it first.
Nice.
How did you know that, Vince? Do you just know that?
I mean, that's a thing, you know. He's called the Man of Tomorrow
Oh,
sometimes.
there's only so many words to fill in that slot with.
This is everyone's deal. I don't know. Okay.
And of sandwiches.
We finish each other's sandwiches.
Yeah.
All right. Brendan Routh.
That name.
Superman Returns.
Superman
Oh.
Returns is correct. Vince.
That's why. 'Cause
Okay. Tim Daly.
that sounds familiar. To me.
Justice League Unlimited.
Superman the animated series.
That is correct. There we go. All right. Dean Cain.
Oh,
The
Lois and,
Adventures of
Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark is, I'll give it to Jeanette, is correct. The 90s Superman series of all of our dreams.
Technically, that's the Superman I
What
grew up
a
with. He's
Superman.
not a good Superman.
I don't know how to say this guy's last name, so I'm going to try. Tyler Hoechlin.
Oh,
Supergirl.
Superman and Lois. Yeah,
Technically,
Superman.
both of those are correct, so I'll give both of you a point.
Hmm.
There we go. I think it's funny that there was Lois and Clark, and now there's Superman and Lois. That's cute. All right, and finally, Nicolas Cage.
Oh, he never.
Oh, The Flash.
The Flash is correct.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they CGI'd him. I thought you were gonna drop Ben Affleck on me because I would have got that.
Oh, what in Hollywoodland? That's what.
Yeah,
Yes.
but he's just playing George Reeves in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. So what was that? The last one?
The Flash.
So Nicolas Cage actually did get to play Superman.
Well, they CGI'd his face in, and he got paid for it.
When was that?
Like there was like a multiverse event at the end of the Flash, not the TV show, but the Ezra Miller movie that they kind of downplayed.
Yeah, there's a whole thing where then Christopher Reeves and Helen Slater.
And that's like years after. That's years after Nicolas Cage was supposed to be Superman. That was in like 1997 or something.
Yeah, they were making the point that everything is supposed to have been in, the multiverse of DC.
Wow, cool. I thought you were throwing a trick one at us there. I thought it was he never did, but he was supposed to in whoever's movie.
No. All right. I didn't come up with a bonus question, so I had to come up with one just now. So I did. Here we go. How many points does everyone want to wager? Jeanette, you have 1. Vince and Lauren, you have 5.
Let's do all 5.
Yeah, I'm doing all of them.
All going all in. Okay. Here we go. So I will have all of you lock in an answer, like just speak your answer, and closest, I guess, will win. Here we are. So, in what year was Superman introduced to the world?
1938.
I'm gonna say 1927.
Well, it was 1938. So Lauren and Vince are still tied. So that gave us nothing. So Jeanette's eliminated. Let me come up with a new question.
It would have been funny though if Jeanette ended up winning.
That would be funny.
Because she only had the 1 point.
Okay. On the very first Superman comic book cover, he is lifting a car. What color is the car?
Green.
Lauren, you win.
Wow.
Well
done.
I know a little something about Superman in the comics.
Congratulations, Lauren.
Thank
First
you.
Superman
Good one.
All right, friends. Well, there we go. That concludes Superman month. What a good time it was.
Wowza. And I finally found a Superman movie I like.
Me too. Just in time. There we are. All right. Well, it's been a good time. And next week we start a brand new movie marathon. Woo!
Yeah.
So for those watching who are not in the Facebook group, because why would you be? Because it's only for people who are on this show. And not for the viewers. It's private. That's where we talk about all of you. Not really. No, next month is body swap movies in honor of Freaky Friday. So a bunch of movies where two characters who are at odds with each other magically swap bodies and then chaos ensues. In some cases, it's murderous chaos, like in the Vince Vaughn movie. In some cases, it's R-rated shenanigans where the body swapping means ridiculous sexual scenarios, like with the Change Up. And then sometimes it's perfectly like sweet and G-rated, like with Freaky Friday, which is kind of the foundation of this marathon. So we're going to start next week with the classic 70s movie starring Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris. Then we're going to finish out the month with the brand new Freaky Friday, which is like the Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan era, with some other less known, more obscure body swap movies sandwiched in the middle. So it should be a fun time. And I think we should all pretend to be each other for the month. That'd be fun.
I thought that should be one of the games. Whoever acts the most like the person to their right or above them or whatever.
Oh man,
that's a dangerous little game.
That's risky.
I think we should do it. We'll see though. Okay. Well, but before we move on to that, everyone, closing thoughts on either this movie or Superman in general. Let's start with Jeanette.
Well, like I said, I'm just happy to have found a Superman movie that I can relate to. I really was excited to do this month just because I had never seen a Superman movie before, and now I've come out on the other side of it knowing that I was pretty right about the other movies about why I hadn't watched them, but now I'm happy that there's this one, and I'm going to rewatch it as soon as I can and wait excitedly for the next one because there will be. So.
Agreed. Vince? Wait, Vince?
Yeah, look, I walked into this month being pretty apathetic towards Superman. I thought like, hey, he's a thing, probably for kids, but honestly, things are so dire these days. It's nice to have a symbol of hope. And that's what Superman is, except in Man of Steel. He's a symbol of destruction. And look, James Gunn nails it. Bryan Singer, unfortunately, nailed it. And the Richard Donner nailed it. And Zack Snyder, he had 3 kicks of the can and might not have nailed it that well. But hey, it is what it is. Now everyone has a Superman for them. And isn't that what matters most? Plus, I'm hitting the gym now, and it's all because of fucking Superman. So come on. Okay. I don't know, like seeing.
Let me just tell you, as a girl who grew up staring at magazine covers, don't make that your goal.
Fine, I'm going for George Reeves' Superman. Where he had a bit of a dad bod.
Superman changing lives.
Superman drinks beers and goes to the barbecue still.
That reminded me of the Ben Affleck movie, which was just so wonderful, where he's like drunk Superman. So good. Anyway, Lauren, closing thoughts.
It was nice to be on this particular podcast because the movie has been going through my head, and I'm like, how did I really feel about this movie? But I have to say that, having discussed it here, like it reminded me of all of the things that I did really love about this movie. Now, like I said, Christopher Reeve always will be my Superman for reasons, having grown up with him. But David Cornswet came very, very close. And I'm glad that I loved what Vince said about how every generation now has their Superman. And I'm really happy to have this Superman being introduced to kids now. And as a comic book fan, that's what I want, is for these heroes to endure through new eyes. And that's what I love about it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I have nothing to add. I agree with all of you, but mostly Jeanette. I'm glad I have a Superman that I really love now. So because I guess the Supermen that I had for my generation were what? Brendan Routh and then maybe Henry Cavill. Like, no thank you.
And they wonder why we went with Batman.
Right?
Yeah.
You gave us Christian Bale.
Exactly. We love Christian Bale.
And Michael Keaton, for that matter.
That's true. So excited for whenever the Nolan marathon happens or the Batman marathon, but
yeah,
one day. Well, I mean, something's going to have to happen leading up to the Odyssey, which is my most anticipated film after Wicked for Good. Like once Wicked for Good comes out, the Odyssey will become my new personality. I'm so excited for the Odyssey.
I'm very excited.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be so good. Anyway, but we'll talk about that in a year. Until then, it's that time. Tell everyone who you are, what you do, where they can find you. We'll start with our friend Lauren.
Hello. As I have said before, I'm Lauren with Lauren's Toy Box. This is where my channel where we look at things like this. And you can find me at Lauren's Toy Box, all just one word, LORENSTOYBOX, on pretty much everything. So find me and follow me, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications and like all my posts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hey. How you doing? It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks since I've last seen you. Uh, I don't know. My name's Vince. I run I don't know. I've got this ghost town of a YouTube channel called Only Time Will Tell. You can check it out. Not my best work, but it's all there, for whew, every future generation. So it's already aged poorly, so we'll see. But anyway, hit me up, dog. Fucking follow me on Instagram too. I post the odd rant every now and then. So anyway, unless you don't want to, in which case, enjoy your life. See ya.
Before I tell you who I am, you should go follow Vince on Instagram because his rant today, particularly great, and everybody needs to know it because
Oh, it was so good.
It's a genuine PSA, and if you don't know it, you're an idiot. But me, I'm Jeanette. You can find me here on Wednesdays talking about good movies, sometimes good movies, mostly good movies. You can also find me sometimes on the We Like Theme Parks podcast. All of us are scattered to the ends of the earth right now, and I don't know when we'll post again, but you should check it out. Anyway.
Where's our episode?
Yeah, I would love to know that too. We'll talk about that. And you should check out my Instagram, TinkerJ787. I got a few adventures over there. I just got back from Atlantic City again. Don't know if I have any pictures. I'll put them up if I do, and I'll see you next week or soon.
All right, and this is my channel. My name is Matt. I have 2 degrees. Thank you so much for joining us for Superman Month again. Next week, we kick off Body Swap Month with Freaky Friday, Disney Classic. It's actually kind of fun because last summer we did the 1970s Parent Trap, so it's almost just like summertime is a time to revisit classic 1970s Disney movies, which is just nostalgic for me. I grew up watching the VHS tapes of those movies at a cottage during the summer. So it's full circle. I enjoy that. Yeah. Keep an eye on my channel. Eventually I'll do a full-length video again. They take so long to research and whatever. But in the meantime, watch the live shows. Watch the shorts. I went to a lot of theater last week. I'm still very tired. I don't think I've posted all those reviews on this channel, so maybe that'll happen at some point. Who knows? But until then, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the good things. And until next time, goodbye. How do you end this?